Welcome to Inside Tissue Manufacturing. I'm Rob Gusky, and I've got over 40 years in manufacturing and engineering, including the last 32 years with Kimberly-Clark. My career has been focused on tissue machine performance, troubleshooting, optimization, and mill operations, and I recently retired and I'm continuing my passion by serving as a consultant. So why start this podcast? I went to a tissue conference recently and I really enjoyed the conference, but the part that was really most interesting for me was the time when I just got to spend talking with others in the industry, whether they're in operations on the tissue machine or OEMs. What I would like to see, and the goal of this podcast, is to provide an ongoing, independent, practical, technical conversation where we'll focus on real operating experience and lessons learned from an independent perspective. Tissue manufacturing, it's a highly integrated process. I remember when I first started on the machine, it was pretty overwhelming, honestly. There were a lot of things to learn, but over time you get comfortable with all of the subsystems. But it is good to take a step back and think of everything that's going on: the fiber, the water, chemistry, all the different systems. On the majority of machines, 80-90% of the machines have a Yankee dryer with generally a hood system. You got creping going on, fabrics and felts. So a lot of systems and a lot of things that can go wrong. So a small change in one area can really have a big impact on your operation. Let's talk about what I want to explore on this podcast. The key is to get real and practical insights from people who work on the machine on a regular basis. So I'll delve into what really happens on tissue machines, how experienced people diagnose and solve problems. There's also a lot of experience out there, and we'll have people share with us lessons they've learned from years of operating experience. And overall, our goal is to really give you the tools to share that practical knowledge that helps you understand more, solve better, and perform at your best. Now let's talk about who we're going to hear from on the podcast. First and foremost would be mill engineers and operators, people on the front lines. I really want to hear from them, what's working, what's not working, the challenges they're facing. And then there are the OEMs who build the machines. Want to hear what the latest they've got coming to the industry. I'll talk to clothing suppliers, equipment vendors, chemical suppliers, and I'll try to bring in guests that are really experts in their field and have a lot of experience in these areas. They may have different perspectives, but we all have a shared goal. That's to get our machines running better, deliver better performance, and ultimately make better tissue for our customers. It's important that I take a minute to talk about what's going to make a good guest conversation. I want to have real conversations about real challenges and give you real information that you can take back to your mill. I want to go beyond the technology. I'm looking for practical insights that you can use in your mill. I want this to be more than just the technology. I want to talk about the process, the people, the performance, and what problem does this solve? What are the operating limits? And where is it misunderstood? And as we've said, really the practical lessons that you can apply in your day-to-day. So we will have honest dialogue. We'll share different perspectives, bring in guests with different perspectives. The end result will be stronger mills and better results for you. So, what can you expect in terms of topics? In my time in the industry, I've seen a lot of things, deal with a lot of challenges, and what I want to do is cover those over time, get into the areas that are causing the most problems on the machine. Things, for example, like sheet breaks, craping, operating your Yankee, felt conditioning, energy use is becoming a bigger topic for everyone, as well as water management. Get into quality systems and talk about solving problems, root cause analysis. And here's a few topics I'm working on for future episodes. Looking at refining, forming fabrics, felt conditioning, tissue softness, Yankee coating and chatter, and the use of suction pressure roll doctoring to increase post-pressure roll consistency. I also plan to get your input for additional episodes. So hoping to really get the information that you guys are looking for. So who's going to benefit from this podcast? Really, anyone who wants a better understanding of tissue manufacturing. So that's going to include, obviously, operators, engineers on the tissue machine, including younger engineers, even experienced engineers, I think will get benefit out of this. Your suppliers and OEMs, mill leaders. And this podcast will be for everyone that has that interest in understanding tissue manufacturing better. I'll give you practical insights, real experience in order to help you drive better results. Okay, let's go over some important ground rules. As you know, I'll be your host on these podcasts, on these episodes. And although I've got a lot of years in industry, I'm now working as an independent consultant. So I think that's what's going to set this podcast apart, is that it will try to remain independent and provide you with practical information in a professional way. This will not be a sales platform. We will be talking to a lot of OEMs and suppliers, and their expertise is very welcome. But product promotion is not the goal. We're really focusing on the applications, limitations, and lessons learned from the field. And confidentiality, obviously in tissue, can be very confidential business. We're not going to provide any proprietary client information, no confidential mill data, and we're going to focus on the principles and transferable lessons. And I think that will help make this forum work well for everyone. The goal is to help tissue professionals think more clearly, solve problems more effectively, and learn from each other. Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this first episode up. In closing, the goal of the Inside Tissue Manufacturing Podcast is to provide an independent perspective with practical insights and give you value that you can use in your day-to-day work. I'm going to have very practical conversations with real impact. And if you work anywhere in the tissue industry, I hope you'll find value here. Thank you for listening to Inside Tissue Manufacturing. If you have any ideas for future topics, know someone who would be a good guest, or would like to discuss a tissue manufacturing challenge, I'd be happy to hear from you. You can reach me at rob@guskyprocessconsulting.com or visit guskyprocessconsulting.com. Until next time, keep learning, keep improving, and stay safe.